Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. My name is Scott Morgan, North Motor City Madmouth. It's our last Sports Exchange for a few weeks, anyways, as we get ready to head out to Portugal on Friday, and we'll be back. And I want to say on the 14th for this show, Candy, something like that, and we'll have our doubleheader there. So at any rate, okay, let's get this bad boy going. We got Eric Katz in the house. We got Cliff Neal in the house. We have Marky Bilson, man. I'll tell you, he definitely gets my vote for best dressed person on this show for sure. Wearing that coat and tie. My gosh, Mark, I can't remember the last time I ended up wearing one of those. And that's not an Alzheimer's thing. That's just a fact. Then we got Tony not wearing a coat and tie, and Candy is wearing the candy gear. All right, well, let's get to it. Busy night ahead. But we're going to talk a little bit of hockey first. Buffalo Sabres ownership. Get this. Last March was actually named the worst in the NHL in a survey conducted by The Athletic. But boy, what a year a difference makes, Marky, because now the Sabres are in the playoff and they ended up winning the top of their division.
And tied in the series right now, 1-1, if I'm correct.
Yeah, you are right. 1-1. They win their division. That's just unbelievable. The turnaround that they've had. Anything you want to add to that? Marky?
Would not be on the top of my list. I would have thought of someone who had
you would have what?
Anymore, but a George Shin, somebody like that, he couldn't make it there, so he's going to blame the fans, that sort of thing. The lousy arena, all those excuses that causes an incompetent owner to basically backstab a community. That's who I would have chosen as the worst owners and such. But yeah, what can you say about the Sabres? They're tied right now with the with the Boston Bruins, and look to be doing about as well as anyone so far in a very competitive playoff series, except maybe for the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are down 2-0 and losing at the end of 2 in the third game.
Yeah, George Shen, great name, Marky, because I was living in the Charlotte area, but when he actually got basketball there. But boy, once he got involved, he ran that franchise to the ground, and they subsequently left the area. Not going to get into too much of that, but I think your comparison with George Shin is definitely points on. Okay, Tony?
Yeah, it's interesting, the ownership situation, because that doesn't always equate to winning, right? Because you hear the Dolphins continuously get voted as the best organization or the best ownership, and they haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. So I wonder, what are the metrics to great ownership? Is it necessarily winning? Is it how they manage the salary cap? Is it just like HR? How do they treat their players? Are they nice to them? What metrics make them the best? Or, and I wonder how that's going to play out now that they're winning. Where will they be in this year's poll? Will they be top 5 since they're a winning team? That'll let me know a lot more about what goes into those metrics.
Candy?
Yeah, I agree. The Sabres haven't been in the playoffs since, I believe, 2018. Been a while. But ownership doesn't always equate to playoff wins. Let's face it. The Packers, who are they owned by? They're owned by the – so that's a very different team and different ownership setting. I find it's interesting. Let's hope that for Buffalo's sake, since I don't have a horse in the race for hockey, hey, let's hope that they have some success.
Cliff?
Well, it all turned around when Kekalainen got signed on as the GM. They dumped Kevin Adams, brought in Kekalainen. They already had Darlene in there. They Tage Thompson, both good young players. Something switched, something changed with that, and I'm happy for them. Man, my team is gone, but they are a New York team, so I don't know if they can. I think they can beat Boston. Ownership has been shady for a very long time there. It's not seemed to be able to know what to do. They had to trade away Jack Eichel after drafting him. But it's great to see. I'm happy to see the Sabres are doing so well. It's just it just seemed to flip the switch, and they've been, they've Alex Tuch, all of them. It's been amazing. They've been a fun team to watch this year. That's for sure.
Eric?
Well, I'm not a hockey fan, but it's at the end of the day, though, the players still got to go on the ice and compete, and so it doesn't really, regardless of what's going on in the background, these guys still got to go on the ice and do a job, and it's nice to see when teams can win in spite of what's going on.
Okay, well, let's continue on. I know you're a baseball guy, because when Bob Melvin was managing the San Francisco Giants last year, his comments about Robbie Ray were he's trying to turn himself into a 3-pitch pitcher and be less predictable. Eric, well, obviously, I had an opportunity to interview Robbie Ray when he was down in Miami for the All-Star game. But here talks about Bob Melvin's assertion about Robbie Ray, Eric.
Well, I mean, Robbie Ray is a Cy Young award-winning pitcher. I mean, he's clearly done a lot, knows what it takes to be successful in this league. And, obviously the following years after it, yeah, you could probably make that argument, but so far this year, he's seemingly found it again. I mean, you could probably make that argument about making him less. You could say, yeah, he was predictable after the Cy Young years because he kind of fell off, got hurt, and things like that. But this year, I think it's going okay.
Okay. All right, Cliff.
Well, it's good to see he's able to turn it around. Bob Melvin's spot on with that. I think I hope Robbie Ray can build upon that, get some more success this year. We'll see. Sometimes he's good and sometimes not so good, and so we have to. I don't know. I can't predict the future. Just have to wait and see what he does, and if he can keep it going, and hopefully that third pitch is a difference maker for him and can take it to the next level for the team.
Marky.
I forgive me here. You're cut out, and I got Ray and I got Melvin. But what was the connection between? What did Melvin say about Ray? Forgive me. That connection went off there.
Hey, Eric, go ahead and give him an overview of what I just said.
Bob Melvin was apparently trying to make Robbie Ray into a 3-pitch pitcher to make him less predictable.
That's all.
But does he not have 3? Does he have 4? Is he trying to take one away or so? I would say, having broadcast minor league baseball, my goodness, every prospect that they talk about, well, he needs that third pitch. He needs the slider. He needs the, yeah, you do. It's a necessary item. Bob Gibson throwing 100 mile an hour gas every pitch is probably not going to be on the horizon here. So I don't know what the controversy is.
Well, there is no controversy, Marky. Let me explain it to you. There is no controversy. Robbie Ray had 2 pitches, and obviously Melvin and his staff are trying to help him find a third to get to what you were talking about, minor league baseball. That's what he's trying to do. Yeah. And I'm just making a point when you have a manager trying to help a pitcher gain a third pitch, that obviously breeds towards more longevity when you have more in your artillery. That's all I'm pointing out.
No, well, I mean, it's a necessary item, especially if you're going to start. You might be able to be that 9th inning closer who just comes in and throws gas every day. You might be able to get away with that, but that's short-lived. I mean, you can only, and very rarely does somebody throw, or for a long career, hundreds of miles an hour all the time, that sort of stuff, especially with any kind of control. So, I mean, you need 3 pitches in the big leagues. That's pretty much a given.
Good, then you made my point. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, great stuff. Okay, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm surprised Robbie Ray was able to make it as long as he did in the league with only 2 pitches as a starter. Right. Like Marky said, you can get away with that as a bullpen guy, maybe throwing 1 inning every 2 or 3 days or so. But to be a every 4 or 5 day starter and only have 2 pitches is actually impressive. That he made it this far, but at some point he obviously had to add something to it, and adding pitches throughout your career is difficult. But once you get a hold of it, it throws hitters off and it gives you the longevity to extend your career. So, hey, more power to him. It seems like it's working out so far.
Candy.
Yeah, I mean, really 2 pitches only? That just seems crazy. But he's developed other pitches now. I mean, he's got a fastball, slider, and he mixes in a changeup slash curveball to keep hitters off balance. Despite he used to have early control issues, but um, I think part of it is sometimes you, as a pitcher, you have to find your groove, your stride. I think part of it, and this is going to sound weird, but part of it is every pitcher's mound is a little different and getting your footing in there and stuff like that. But to say that a pitcher has survived with only 2 pitches is mind-boggling, to be honest with you. It means that he must really throw hard or place them very well to be successful with only 2 pitches.
Yeah, well, Robbie Ray has been known to be a flamethrower anyways. And that's why, as Marky alluded to, you have to have at least 3 pitches. And that's why when you talk about broadcasting in the minor league, hello, that's exactly what they're trying to do. But you can't get away with just 2 in the big league unless you're a closer. Then that's heat. If you're a regular starter, you have to at least have 3. Great stuff all the way around. So Gleyber Torres on why he signed with the Tigers now that and how they played the second half last year. They showed what his team, this team could do. So obviously, Gleyber Torres was really happy that he ended up landing with the Detroit Tigers. Things ended a little bit. They didn't end well in New York with the Yankees. Eric, go ahead and give us your perception about why Gleyber is a lot happier. I know that Jazz Chisholm, as I remember, had second base, and Gleyber Torres wanted to play second base. I know it starts at least there.
Well, actually, the Yankees were originally were going to, before they got when they got Jazz, they were going to move Gleyber to third, but Gleyber didn't want to, so that kind of put the Yankees in a bit of a bind there. So that kind of spelled the end of his time there. Plus, the Yankees didn't even attach a qualifying offer to him, so they just said, they weren't really going to be missing him per se. But I think Gleyber is happy because he's not dealing with the fan. He's not dealing with the fan and the media pressure in Detroit like he had to in New York. Because in New York, he went to 2 All-Star games, and fans were expecting him to be that consistent All-Star, which he never was. He kind of was a frustrating player because he had the potential and it was in there. He could just never put it together after his first 2 seasons, and so he was dealing with kind of failing expectations, and also how it ended in New York was the Yankees didn't really make an attempt to even have an extension conversation. So that kind of put him off as well. So I think he's just happy because he's just out of New York, and the pressure in Detroit is not nearly what it is in New York. Or excuse me, New York.
Cliff.
Eric's dead spot on the pressure cooker of playing in New York. Have a little success, and it gets old fast. And heck, Detroit, he seems to be happy. He likes the young direction of some of the young up-and-coming players having some success there. And I guess he wants to see and be part of that. Also, maybe that can help his whatever time he has left there. Maybe they can make a little bit of a run. Maybe if they hit a little bit better, it'll help him a little bit better. And when it's time for him to hit the free agency market, maybe his stats will be a little bit better. So he might not be going back to New York, but he might find another spot, or heck, you never know. Detroit might even be a little bit better, and he might just stay there and make a little bit more money.
Marky.
A place to play, a place to be comfortable, a place where you're wanted. I do find it a little bit, usually you see players that want to go from a smaller market to a bigger market. Detroit may not be Kansas City or Pittsburgh, but no, it's not New York or LA either. But now, here you have a situation where you can cut your teeth, where you can, shine, where you can blossom. And then when the contract calls, I guess, go back to a big market if you're good enough.
Okay. Tony?
Hey, man, sometimes you got to love who loves you.
Yeah.
Right? And the Lakers, I'm sorry. And the Yankees didn't love Gleyber. All right.
Oh.
And I'm going to be honest with you. The way Jazz Chisholm has been playing these first 20 and some odd games, I miss you, Gleyber. Okay. I'm sorry. We were wrong. But yeah, I mean, he's just comfortable. He's got a nice chunk of change with Detroit. a lot less pressure, as you guys mentioned, because it became a lot on him. Part of it was because he set a high bar his first couple of years, you know what I'm saying? So that comes with expectations. But now he can kind of sit back. He can let the other guys in Detroit, the more stars, I guess you can say, the bigger figures of the team, play and ball out, and he can just play baseball. Ultimately, I'm sure that's what most of these players only want to do. They just want to play baseball, play the game they love, and go about their business. And he's able to do that in Detroit.
Candy?
Part of the reason why the Tigers signed him, they were familiar with him. He had a pretty successful last year. But let's face it, we don't know what's going to happen with Tarek Skubal. They're all in on this year because they don't know where he might end up after this season. So they wanted to bring as many players back as they could that were successful for them, that were good for the club. I'm assuming he's probably good in the locker room as well. So they were all in on him. 1 year, $22 million offer to play second base. Kudos to both sides. Hopefully it works out for both of them.
Okay. All right, more baseball talk. Now the Braves signed Rowdy Tellez, 31 to a minor league deal. He has hit 122 home runs over 8 seasons. Tell you right now, the Braves are having a pretty good season. Anytime you can add somebody like Rowdy who knows how to hit one out of the park every now and then, Marky, I'll tell you one thing. I think it's Braves and Rowdy are a good fit.
There's a lot of excitement here in Central Florida with the Rays, not only because of signing the power hitter there, but because of possibly getting, they're trying to construct the new stadium with the Trop, obviously, in its final days. They're just happy that they're being able to play with it and all this. But, yeah, there was a lot of buzz. The Rays are returning to the Trop, and it looks like they're going to be returning with a pretty good team. And so there's some baseball excitement, some real baseball excitement here in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, Marky, I was talking about the Atlanta Braves and Rowdy Tellez.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
sorry, but you know what? Now that you brought that up, though, I'm going to bring up a Tampa Bay Rays topic when I return.
I really, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble hearing you here on the connection.
Okay, well, it's Rowdy Tellez and the Atlanta Braves. Rowdy seems to have found a pretty good spot over there in Atlanta.
Go ahead. Yeah, it's pass. Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, this is the kind of signing, it could be found money, so to speak. You got Matt Olson out there at first base. He's going to be your everyday guy. They're pretty set on their lineup. As you can see, they're arguably the hottest team in baseball, the best team in baseball to start off. So if he can find his way to move up and can contribute, it's found money, So if the Braves needed any more help, he might be it.
Okay. Like you say, found money is a good way to put him another piece off the bench. Okay, Candy.
Rowdy signed a minor league contract with the Mariners back in February 20th of 2025. The Rangers then signed him to a minor league contract on July 5th of 2025. After playing the All-Star break, Tellez hit better with Texas, batting .259, .315, .457 with 6 home runs in 50 games. He can only help bolster Atlanta. I see him coming in, DHing from time to time. He did play for Mexico in the 2023 World Baseball Classic. He was a designated hitter back then, 280, 333, 440. He can hit. He has power in his bat, and he can hit. He just doesn't have as great of an average. His overall batting average is .234 with 122 home runs, 368 runs batted in. And he debuted September 5th, 2018 for the Toronto Blue Jays.
I'll tell you what, he's a role player that's found a way to survive in the big leagues for a lot of years. More power to him. All right, let's get down to the NFL a little bit. This free agent quarterback.
Wait, Scott, I didn't go.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I remember Rowdy Tellez was originally drafted by the Blue Jays, and then unfortunately he just had a bad luck when Vladdy Jr. arrived there, and then the Brewers traded for him. And in 2022, he actually had a good year where he hit 35 home runs. Just after that, he just was never able to put it together, and so he's kind of bounced around the league as kind of like a hired gun per se, where he's a good role player. He can come in, provide some power and whatever, but with the Braves, though, I mean, I think it could be kind of a diamond in the rough for signing per se, where they might be able to get some home runs here and there. And so, yeah, I mean, nothing to complain about. If it ends up not working out, it's no skin off the Braves' back.
Hey, Cliff, did you talk about this one or
No,
not?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Well, go ahead.
I'll go real quick. Yeah, he's actually playing in Gwinnett, their minor league AAA thing right now. He's under 220 there. Yeah, I guess they're just setting him up for maybe the later in the season. He's got the power. He can maybe he can get some home runs here and there. It's he can be good, but he's never going to hit consistently from an average standpoint. But maybe every so often he can streak some home runs together, get the lineup going a little bit more, and help the Braves out, even though I'm not thrilled about that. But they're doing what they're doing for their team. So
okay, let's talk NFL. Free agent quarterback Joe Flacco agreed to a 1-year deal to return to the Cincinnati Bengals. Thoughts on the move, Eric?
Joe Flacco has somehow found a second life for himself in the NFL, and I think it's a great move for him personally. And so, because the Browns kind of want that veteran in case Joe Burrow gets hurt, because he's been hurt the past couple of years. And so having like someone like Flacco in there who knows how to play the position, knows the offense, knows what to do is something that will at least give the Bengals a chance every Sunday.
Cliff?
Well, he already showed that he can fill in. Did last time after that horrible backup they had there when Burrow went down, and it's like, oh, amazing! As someone who can actually get the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and they don't have to flop around. Flacco, he's 41 now. He's on borrowed time. Hey, I love watching those guys come in, and I've always liked Joe Flacco. So I hope he can keep it up, but I could also see it all of a sudden if he goes in, and when you get to be up in that range for a quarterback, it might just stop. Something might just end. So I hope it doesn't, but I wish him only the best. I like watching him play for the Bengals.
What about you, Marky?
After the nuclear holocaust, all that will be alive are cockroaches and Joe Flacco. I'm pretty much convinced of that. That's his longevity. I'm very impressed with that. I covered Flacco when he was at Pitt in 2003. He was a contemporary of Larry Fitzgerald. That's how long ago he goes back.
Wow.
But, when the thing was, he was not on the, really anywhere to be seen on the depth chart. You had at that time Rod Rutherford, who was the starting quarterback at Pitt. You have Luke Getsky was number 2. He's been an offensive coordinator for the Bears and some others. Tyler Palco, who was a name that bounced around the NFL for a while, was being redshirted. But then you had, Flacco, and this is why he transfers to Delaware. And I think that Flacco might be one of the last players that'll ever last quarterbacks that'll ever come out of the FCS to star. What with the NIL and every player with talent trying to go to a big school now, I just don't know that you're going to have a Steve McNair or Ryan Fitzpatrick, a Joe Flacco come from an FCS school anymore. That's the other thing that I would say about Flacco here. But yeah, I mean, just tremendous longevity. It was only 2 years ago he was taking the Browns to the playoffs.
So I wonder how many people know what Delaware's name is.
Yeah, well, they're now FBS, but back then they were FC. Blue Hens just moved up to FBS.
I remember Troy Smith was supposed to start for the Ravens that year, but he ended up getting sick, and so Flacco took over. And actually, I think he led the Ravens that year to the AFC Championship.
Yeah. As I said, he may outlive Blanda.
Boy, that's a pretty lofty one.
Went to 48 was being, of course, just a kicker then, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I want to think about a guy like you in your 50s, Marky. You can go back a little further than a lot of people. Yeah, all I'll say is, for anybody that doesn't know who Delaware is, they're the Delaware Blue Hens, and they wear the same winged helmet as my Michigan Wolverines. Take it for whatever it's worth. And I actually visited that campus, University of Delaware. It's a pretty cool place, actually.
I can't figure out though why everything in Delaware is blue. Delaware Blue Hens, the Wilmington Blue Rocks. Why is everything have to have the modifier blue in Delaware?
It's the license plate too.
I don't think
I guess they like blue. I guess they like blue. I don't know.
Well, perhaps it was the first color to go with the blue first state. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Mark, I got news for you, Mark. I still like their helmet, man.
Who doesn't?
I'll tell you why. It was the color. It was the colors worn by George Washington, since Delaware was like the first real. Was the one of the major states to be against the king.
Well, no, isn't Delaware considered the first state in the union? Anyway?
Yes, it is. It is the first. It is the first state in the union.
There you go. George Washington. A little bit of trivia, Martin. Okay. Let's keep going.
I'm glad this has been cleared up. It's been bothering me for 30 years.
What was that?
Well, I just solved your 30-year problem, Marky.
I appreciate it. I once sold tickets for the Wilmington Blue Rocks. So yes, it's nice to know where the blue came from. Where the rocks come from now is the next mystery.
Yep, the blue is from George Washington, so you have him to thank for that.
There you go. Okay, who have I called on so far about this?
Tony and me.
Okay, Tony, go ahead. It's pretty good stuff here.
So I ran a tally last year of starting quarterbacks, and the NFL went over 50. You have to have a solid starting backup quarterback. Joe Flacco he was there last year. He actually was able to get the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Oh my God. You a competent quarterback. That's all you need. You have two of the best wide receivers in the league. Just get it out to him, and he's able to do that. He still can do that. And we all kind of pencil in 4 to 5 non-Joe Burrow games with the Bengals nowadays. So you got to have somebody to at least keep you at 2-2 or 2-3 to keep you afloat in the playoff series. I mean, in the playoff race. And Joe Flacco can do that for him. I mean, we're not expecting him to play all 17 games, but he can definitely keep you going if your quarterback's going to miss games.
Candy?
Joe Flacco actually has 3 NFL records. Passing touchdowns in a single postseason, 11. He's tied with somebody else. Most touchdowns without an interception in the postseason, 11. Tied with Joe Montana. Most road playoff wins for a quarterback, 7, tied with Tom Brady. That's pretty good company that Joe Flacco's holding, that he's being mentioned there with. He's got 48,176 passing yards, completion percentage 61.6. Why wouldn't they sign him? I mean, it's not like he came very expensive. They signed him for what, a 1-year, $6 million contract. That's peanuts for them. I mean, and that's a good deal for them to get a backup that's got that kind of experience to help all the other people help develop them. Kudos to them. That was probably one of their smarter moves.
Yeah, I've got a good insurance policy too. We all know that Joe Burrow obviously has had injury problems from time to time. You got Joe Flacco, and he's very capable of picking up games if he has to do with the right team, and he's got some good wideouts as well. Let's continue the baseball theme, shall we? The Mets are now at a 12-game losing streak. The 12-game losing streak started. Cliff didn't really want to hear about it. No team that's ever lost 12 games in a row has ever made the postseason. Okay, Eric is gleaming from here all the way to Alaska or Iceland. Go ahead, Eric. This is your shot.
Eric's that's my dog right there. We both smile so big.
I was trying to imitate Jack Nicholson from Anger Management when he's doing the nod at the bar when Adam Sandler's walking up there. Oh man, how do you have the second largest payroll in the sport behind just the Los Angeles Dodgers, and you go on a 12-game losing streak like this, and you're in last place, and you have the worst record in baseball? Only the Mets would figure out how to do something as tragic as that. And somehow thinking that you would take the Yankees leftovers like Luke Weaver, as well as Devin Williams, and thinking that would improve your team, while also shedding your great hitters like Pete Alonso and Brandon Nimmo. Yes, I use Pete Alonso in the same and great in the same sentence, even though I love to rip the guy to shreds like a hot dog at a baseball game. He is, this is just embarrassing. I'm telling you, no matter who owns that team, no matter whoever runs the front office, they'll always be the Mets. It's been that way. It's been that way since I was born. And the last time they had any sort of relevance, aside from their one-off years like in 2006 and 2015, the last time they were truly consistently contending, Cliff would have to go back and walk through the halls of either his middle school or high school.
That would be high school. That would be high school. Okay.
You'd still have to walk through those halls to remember the last time the Mets won anything significant.
Oh, no, there's no doubt. I've gone through this. I've been tortured through it. And if you remember a few weeks back, I predicted this. I said, I'm having bad omens. I am not liking this. It's not good. First of all, you get rid of Pete Alonso. Then you trade away. Okay, I had no problem with trading away Nimmo, but they brought in Simeon. Why are we bringing in Simeon? He's plays second base. He can't hit anymore. Oh, his glove. Apparently, he can't field anymore either. It's absolutely astounding, but I'm not surprised. That's not how the Mets can win that way. Oh, we're going to try to be like the Yankees. Well, you can't win like the Yankees. Every time they try to play like the Yankees and spend tons of money, they lose terribly. They win by developing their players, by getting some good pitchers. Maybe do they make a couple free agent signings? Sure. Do they make a couple trades? Sure. But when you try to spend here, spend there, we've got Stearns now. Stearns can go. We can send him back to Milwaukee. You can have him. Okay. This has been utterly ridiculous. I'm not surprised. I knew this was going to happen. It was terrible. Oh, and everybody, they say, son, he can play first. He's never played first. Oh, we'll put Bichette at third. Yeah, that's great. He wasn't that great a shortstop, but we're going to put him in at third. Oh, this is a wonderful strategy. But we have Juan Soto. Okay, and he got hurt. Yeah, that's just great. It's like we're going back to like Jeff Torborg and Tony Fernandez and Eddie Murray and Bleach, all that stuff. I'm like, it's replaying. They're going to be, if not the last place team, in definitely the 5 worst in the league this year.
Can I add to your problem, Cliff? Francisco Lindor got hurt tonight. He too hurt his calf.
Oh, super duper! Of course,
he did. It really feels good.
But Bichette can play short now, where he should have been playing in the first place, and you could put like Brett Beatty at third and not right field.
I'm beginning to worry about. On another note, I'm beginning to worry about Frank the Tank from Barstool's health.
Yeah.
Well, here, hey, Mark, if it makes you feel any better, okay. And here's what I'm going to say: your Pirates are on house money because nobody expected them to do anything. So it doesn't matter.
Before you go, my Pirates, I would like to say I was the beat writer for New York Metro of the Mets in 2009 for spring training. Yeah, so I mean, that's 17 years ago. But there was my, that was my credential as a real New York baseball writer. And let's face, traditionally in sports media, the New York baseball writer, that's top of the line. I mean, back in the day, the Dan Deasy's, the Dick Youngs, and all that, those were the guys that, ruled the sports media. So it was a cup of coffee, perhaps, but it was, it was a very wonderful experience. And being with the Mets, who were not, they did not run themselves as lordly as the Yankees would, who, may or not give Metro newspapers with 1 million readers throughout the world a credential. That was the Mets were fine, and so that was one of the reasons why I thought that they were. I very much enjoyed covering them in the time that I did. The 12-game losing streak, never making the postseason. I am, wow. I mean, do you write the team off now in April? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, history's not working on their side, Marky. No team's ever done it. I mean, not that it can't happen, but it's never happened so far.
Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah, I'm reminded. You talked about the new tough New York press. I'm reminded of headlines back in the day with the New York Jets. 2 games and the season is over. I mean, is this going to be 3 weeks and the season is over? It's been a tough 2 weeks. I'll tell you that.
Sorry, breaking news update. The Mets are up 3-2 in the 8th inning. I know it's probably not, but they are leading in the 8th inning. All right, just
hey, Marky, if you had a chance to work with Jay Horowitz, you're better off than anybody because he's the best PR guy I've ever dealt with. Jay is unbelievable.
Yeah, I did do work with him and all that, and I know I have a story about him protecting the Mets players and all this from media criticism and such. I also remember, though, one time, you mentioned how respected Jay Horowitz was. I went to the baseball winter meetings once looking for a broadcasting job, this sort of thing, and you had all these people just out of college looking for their first job in sports, trying to go. And I'll never forget this. And Jay, when I told him this story, did not believe it. But you had all these young, wannabes working in sports saying, I want to have a career like Jay Horowitz. And the only problem was, as I told Horowitz, I said, you've been around the Mets since 1980. And they thought you were around since 1962. That's the only problem, Jay.
Yeah. Well,
Jay's a class guy, though. You should.
I've gotten to know Jay. One of the nicest people one of the best PR people I've ever dealt with. I've dealt with a lot of good ones. I've dealt with my fair share of bad ones too. All right, Tony. I want one more baseball topic I want to get to, and then I want to put a couple sound bites in before Marky hits the road. Okay, go ahead, Bessemer City.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, Mark, because I have a Mets fan that I'm a friend with, and I text him. It's hard to say that the season's over 22, 23 games in.
Yeah.
But this is over. And it makes my heart just smile knowing that this is over for the Mets. Okay? Like, you bring Devin Williams like he's going to help. Did y'all not watch him blow 10 plus saves last year? What did you thought you were going to fix him? Yeah,
I wrote about that. I wrote about that too, actually, about the rise and fall of Devin Williams.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Taking our problem. That was our addition by subtraction. And the Mets, and one thing for sure, the Mets are going to Met. That's one of my favorite phrases. And my cousin has a term too. I don't know if you guys have Walmart where you guys are, because I know we're all in different parts of the country.
Yeah,
but you know what the great value brand is? The Walmart brand. That's what the Mets are. They the great value version of the Yankees. It's not going to be the same. We can try and do it as much as they want. They'll never be the Yankees. And it just makes me happy to see them try and do what the Yankees do and fail. Because why don't you forge your own way? Figure it out your own way. You're trying to spend as much as the Dodgers. Nope. You're trying to be like the Yankees, be the big brother. Nope. And I'm so happy that Juan Soto has to go through this, because when he signed with the Mets and said that this was a Mets town, that he wants to be associated with winning, he has no history of the MLB, more power to you. And you got to get a championship in the first couple of years, because Juan Soto is going to be a DH by year 6. So that's going to be, the contract is progressively going to get worse if you don't have a title to show for it. And it don't look like you guys are any closer than the day that you signed him. Thank the Lord.
I think the Yankees are thinking the Mets are taking Devin Williams off their hand and losing with them. Yep. I don't know how they would do the front pages and the back pages, but the Yankees said you can have them. All right, Candy, one more baseball topic I want to get to. I have a couple sound bites from that I got from the Senior Bowl. So for you draft junkies out there, you're going to want to listen to these. Go ahead, Candy.
The longest losing streak skid in 24 years for the Mets.
Wow.
Wow. I thought that was more. I thought that this was just a blip. So I'm actually surprised.
Wow. And they got news today that Lindor he suffered some kind of calf injury. He left with the calf tightness on the day that Soto returns. So good, bad. They have the opposite record of the Dodgers. They are 7-16. The Dodgers are 16-7.
Yeah,
Am I
addition by,
sad? No. It's too
addition by
bad.
subtraction. That's
Right.
all.
Unfortunate. Go ahead, Scott.
All right, one other baseball note I want to get to: Jose E. Feliciano bought the San Diego Padres for $3.9 billion. Erickson talked about this. Are the Padres finally in good hands with Jose?
I think so. I think he's a guy who's clearly got the money to buy a franchise, because this one set the record for teams purchased. So they're in okay shape there. And they already got a nice team to begin with. They got a nice core of guys. They got Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado. So say what you will about those guys. They also have the best closer in baseball right now in Mason Miller. If they can finally just put it all together, I think they'll be in good hands. And he's clearly, he clearly showed he's interested in spending money, because after Nick Pivetta went down, they picked up Lucas Giolito, so he's clearly okay with spending some money. So we'll see how the offseason goes. The next couple offseasons will go. We'll see what this guy is about truly.
Cliff?
I mean, he knows sports. He knows how to invest. I think it's a good step in the right direction for the Padres. Always been kind of a Padres fan, going back to that '84 team. And hey, I think it's gonna be good times for San Diego, and we'll see if he can take them to the next level with his money and maybe a new business plan against the mighty Dodgers. Maybe they nip at their heels a little bit more. But it's a welcome change for the San Diego Padres.
Markey?
Yeah, a welcome change to the Padres. I mean, that's I think my comment as well. I really don't have anything to add.
Okay. That's Worth City.
The problem has never been, well, I'm not gonna say never, but in recent years hasn't been spending money with the Dodgers. So as long as he can keep that up, the question is, what will his strategy be? Because the spending money hasn't equated to winning. So does he have a different angle of picking up players or signing players that'll get them over the hump? They look pretty good right now. They've been good the last few years. They've been playoff team. Is what can he add to this team as an owner to get them over the Dodgers hump? Because they can get to the playoffs, but they can't win the West, and they haven't been able to get to the World Series. So that's the only missing piece. Maybe he has a different angle on it.
Andy?
The sale must be approved by 75% of league owners, and the Padres expect to finalize the deal by June. The interesting part of it that I think, if it's approved by MLB, Jose Feliciano would be the first Puerto Rican to own an MLB team. His wife would be the first Black woman with majority ownership of an MLB team as well. So for the Padres, it's a win-win situation. I mean, putting that kind of money and successful money and successful owners in there to help them can only help them. They're successfully they purchased the Premier League Chelsea franchise back in 2022 for $5.24 billion. Kudos for the Padres.
Okay, obviously the NFL draft is less than 48 hours away, and I'll tell you what, I'm sure there are a lot of teams looking for a quarterback, including your Pittsburgh Steelers, Markey. I know that they've talked about maybe getting a little bit of depth there behind Will Howard. We don't know about Aaron Rodgers, and I spoke to another good wide receiver out of USC called Jacoby Lane. So, Candy, go ahead and play the sound bites for Cole Payton and Jacoby Lane. I want everybody to give me their assessment of what you think of these two individuals. Go ahead. They're not very long, and this will get Markey right up close to 10 o'clock, and then he'll be able to do what he wants, party shot. So get these two up, Can.
Okay.
Welcome to the Motor City Mad Mouse Show. Please be joined by.
Well, again, you can't manufacture.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Motor City Mad Mouse Show. Please be joined by Cole Payton of North Dakota State. Glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I noticed you're a left-handed quarterback, and I know some of the good ones out there, Ken Staber and Boomer Esiason. Tell me what it's like to be able to play the position the wrong way, the right way.
it's the right way. It's the right way for sure. You know, to some people it might look goofy, but it's all the same. If you can play, you can play, and I'm here for a reason. But it's been a blast. So.
Don't you find it interesting that when you go out there and other coaches, that it's harder for them to figure you out because you play 80% different than everybody else?
I suppose, yeah. But, I mean, there's been successful QBs that are left-handed, like Michael Vick and Steve Young and all these people. So
tell me a little bit about North Dakota State. They didn't make it to the finals last year, but talk about the tradition of the program, and are they ready to go to FBS at some point?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll move up at some point, but it's a special place. You know, so grateful to be a Bison, so proud to be a Bison, and they're going to continue to have success.
What do you bring to an NFL team?
I'm an animal when the ball's in my hand. I'm an animal.
You're an animal,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
And any other things that you want to add that you want to tell scouts and so forth?
And I love this game. I love to compete. I love to learn and grow, and that's why I do it.
Well, all I can tell you is I've always admired North Dakota State, and you know they have a great tradition of quarterbacks. You want to follow in that tradition as well?
100%. Yep, there's been a long lineage. That's a big reason I went there. A guy sitting here is Coach Hedberg, Randy Hedberg. He's a big reason I'm here. And so, yeah, the best place in America is NDSU.
And you had a couple championships as well, right?
Yep, a couple championships early in my career, and yeah, it's just a blessing for sure.
And one thing that came to my mind, you were approached by Power 4 schools, right? But you elected to stay?
Correct. Yep. Yeah.
It means loyalty to the Bison. It means that much to you?
It does. It's that awesome of a place.
Cool. Been a pleasure talking to you. I wish you the best. All right. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Before we go to the other one, Marky, some talk about Cole Payton. Is he the type of QB you'd want to have on your team?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'd like to point out North Dakota State is going FBS this season.
Right.
In fact, they changed their schedule. I know they had a game with ETSU that got dropped. They had to put some FBS teams on there. So there's that. Yeah, I mean, North Dakota State, we're going to say, I mean, this is a program that does produce quarterbacks. If there is any, you know, I mentioned before how difficult it is to go from the FCS to the NFL in this day and age. And I think that might be one of the reasons why North Dakota State has moved up to the FBS, but Cole may be the last of a dying breed, the last of a McNair, the last of what you want to go way back. I mean, Terry Bradshaw, when he was at Louisiana Tech, they would have been considered at the time a FCS team. They aren't anymore. But yeah, I mean, so in the old day, you could get guys from small schools to come into the NFL. But yeah, Cole may be the last of a dying breed.
Okay, Katie, go to Jacoby and Lane. I want Marky to hear this. You can comment on them, and then at that point, if you want to get going, that's okay. I just think these are good sound bites for you. Okay, Marky, go ahead.
Okay.
This is only like a couple minutes. It's not that long.
Go ahead.
About 2 minutes. Go ahead, Katie. Welcome to another edition of the Motor City Mad Mouse Show. I am joined by UFC wide receiver Jacoby Lane. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on this.
Oh, you're very welcome. Well, let's talk about how things have gone here for you at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, just super blessed to be able to come out here, compete with the best, be around guys from all around the country, learn from the best coaches in the NFL, and just get one foot in the door, kind of get that first little glimpse of the NFL, and just be out here in Mobile, get a new experience, be out here with some dogs, and just work. So.
Let's talk about St. Brown. Is he a guy that you really follow what he's doing with the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, he's a dog. He's always going to be one, and he's been that way since he was at USC, so it's not a surprise.
Describe what your experience is playing at USC. We know about the deep tradition there, and now the fact that you're playing in the Big Ten where you guys get a lot of frequent flyer miles.
Right. Traveling across the country, playing against the best in the nation. I wouldn't want to do it anywhere besides USC. Being able to grow as not only a football player, but as a man as well, as it has been a blessing, and it was a blessing. And anybody that goes to USC is going to in for an experience, and that program is on the right trajectory.
Yeah, talk about Lincoln Riley and what it's like to play for him.
Yeah, Coach Link is nothing but a great coach. He's even better for receivers, and I think just development as a whole, he's really, really sound in not just one area, but all areas, making sure we're not just great route runners, great pass catchers, but also great football minds. So being able to have some versatility in all of that is big for him.
What do you bring? What do you offer every NFL team that they should look for, or why they should draft you?
Yeah, just super nimble guy that can move, being able to play inside and outside, go catch a jump ball, and also run a curl. I think I have a lot of good traits for my size and ability to move.
And my final question: talk about the USC-UCLA rivalry, and for that matter, are they going to miss Notre Dame?
It's not really a rivalry. It's a one-sided rivalry, and I don't know about the Notre Dame game either. So,
well, tell me, you're selling USC and UCLA as a one-sided rivalry in favor of you?
Yeah.
Marvin's going to love it. All right, Jacoby, thanks for being on the Motor City Man Mouth Show, and I appreciate the passion you have with the fans signing all these autographs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Marky, some quick thoughts on Lane.
My legacy is that I gave the Bruins bulletin board material. There you go. No, but I mean, USC is becoming, I would say, wide receiver U. I mean, Jordan Addison transferring after he wins the Valendikoff awarded Pitt to the Trojans. That was very difficult for the Panthers, obviously. But I will say that, when you're talking about the NFL draft and could these guys go in the first round, or, will the Steelers be looking at a quarterback? The draft is in Pittsburgh. I've been horrified to hear that they've been looking at offensive linemen. And I'm not a fan of taking offensive linemen in the first round. I mean, it's one of a unit. I think that, you can pay too much to a first-round blocker, that sort of thing. There have been some great offensive linemen taken in the first round, but are they that immediate impact player, even on a bad offensive line? Again, it is one link of a unit. I think that first-round draft choices should be reserved for wide receivers and quarterbacks, and if it isn't a completely dead position, running back ball handlers, or possibly pass rushers, corners, that sort of thing. I think that's the impact, and you've got the risk reward there. I've also heard the Steelers are, for whatever reason, not all that interested in a quarterback. I think it's unfortunate. I mean, my own sake, I will even say this. I think that Mike Tomlin got rid of Kenny Pickett too soon. Ever since then, it's been rent a quarterback. And right now, the Steelers are at the mercy of Aaron Rodgers. This is not the way to build a franchise. I'm even hearing that Will Howard is over Mason Rudolph now on the depth chart. I don't know what Mason Rudolph has done, really, to lose a spot on the depth chart if Rodgers isn't on the team at the current time. So, I don't really know what they're doing right now in Pittsburgh, to be brutally honest with you. And, I mean, so that's my take here on the draft.
Okay. You have to get going. I know right now, a hard hour at 10. So all right. You want to let everybody know how to get a hold of you? They can see you here. Actually, Marky will be back here on May 14th. When we come back and go back into the game, Candy and I will be overseas. All right, Marky?
Well, like I said, every day you can go at Marky Bilson and all East Tennessee State. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's a small team and such, but it is where one of the places I'm from, Johnson City, and they don't get a lot of coverage and they don't get a lot of opinion on them. And that's what I like, because otherwise ETSU has a legacy, East Tennessee State, of laying it on extremely thick and bragging on nothing burgers. And I do kind of enjoy, and you can find this on YouTube or TikTok or Rumble or just Googling my name, Marky Bilson. You can find me holding the Buccaneers, my alma mater, accountable.
There you go. Well, we look forward to seeing you in a few weeks, Marky. Thanks for everything you do for the program, and we'll see you in a few weeks. God bless. I appreciate you being here. Thanks. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go around the horn with these sound bites. Eric, give me your take, first of all, on Cole Payton, and then you can follow it up with Lane, and we'll just do it. We'll go in sequence. The quarterback.
Yeah, the quarterback, it's hard to die. It's hard to find anybody who wants to stay at the FCS level forever, given that we have NIL and we have the ability to go in the transfer portal, because if you dominate at the FCS level, you'll be able to find your way to a D1 level. So that was cool to see. And the receiver, I don't know. We'll see. I'd rather offensive linemen, it doesn't really matter where you find them. It all comes down to, can your coach the technique? I know back in the day, Howard Mudd, who was the offensive line coach for the Chiefs and the Colts for a very long time, used to find guys and be able to turn them into studs. So it really comes down to coaching with the offensive line.
Okay, so you got Cole Payton. What about the wide receiver?
The wide receiver, it's the wide receiver will we'll see how it goes. He's coming from USC though, and he's coached by Lincoln Riley, who's a great offensive coach. So
Right.
I don't know. We'll see how he stacks up.
Yeah, he has length, that's for sure. So a quarterback that needs a tall target, this guy's it. Go ahead, Cliff.
It is rare to see a good left-handed quarterback. I hope he makes it. I hope he can do something. It is kind of amazing that North Dakota State has produced as many quarterbacks as they have. When you think about them, it's like, really? Okay. But I mean, they seem to, whatever they do there seems to somewhat translate into the NFL, even though you don't think of them as a big powerhouse out there. So if he can get a hook up with someone, get on like a third string or on a practice squad and make it work, we'll see. I mean, or he could just, be drafted and jump around from one thing to another. He seemed like a good kid. I hope he does do well. And the other, and the wide receiver over there, they've got a good program at USC. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to make some waves. All depends on where he gets drafted, what they have on their team. It seems I haven't watched him play. Don't know if he's in the Senior Bowl, so he's got to be pretty good. But you never know with a wide receiver unless they're one of the handful of really top guys. So like I said, it all depends on where he goes and what position or what role he might be playing for whatever team he goes to.
Hey, Tony.
With the quarterback, got to kind of trust the pedigree of what North Dakota State have been able to put out outside of what's your boy? I forgot his name, but he got drafted by San Francisco. Now he's in LA after going to Dallas.
Oh, you talking about Trey Lance?
Trey Lance, yeah, outside of Trey Lance.
Right.
You kind of can trust the pedigree of what North Dakota State puts into the league. But the one thing that I liked about him, a lot of people call themselves dogs in sports now. He said, "You give me the ball, I'm an animal." All right. So I trust I like the confidence of him and what he thinks he can bring to the table. And he's a left-handed quarterback, which is different than game plan for. You used to somebody rolling out right. When he rolls out left, that gives you a little bit of a different dynamic on the football field. And then when it comes to the wide receiver, man, I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of him play. It was a lot more focused on I think his name Malik Lemon. But as a personality, he just jumped off the screen as somebody who you would want in your locker room. He seems like a very nice kid, and him being in USC, Lincoln Riley, and more of a pro style type of offense, he's going to be good in the league. He's going to find a place to play. He focused on route running in college, which is very important, and that'll get you somewhere in the league. So I'm interested to see where he ends up.
All right, Candy, you were there with me. Obviously, you've seen those interviews a few times. Anything changed in your mindset?
No, I would say the one thing that I guess I didn't realize, I did a little more research on Cole Payton. He played his best statistic year by far was 2025, where he played in 13 games. He passed for 2,719 yards, 16 touchdowns, and he rushed for 777 yards and 13 touchdowns. So great 2025. The previous couple years weren't as good for him, but you got to start somewhere, and he could be a good backup. He's got to sit for a while, and you could under someone that would mentor him. You could see. You never know. He might be the next Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison there. It really, really is. You mentioned Darnold. But if you get Cole Payton 1 or 2 years on the bench and they're patient with him depending where he's projected, this guy could be a guy could be talking about a year. There's no crime in sitting a guy for a year or two. We saw what happened with Mahomes, who sat 15 games, was ready to go. And and he was able to learn behind Alex Smith. What's wrong with that? We'll talk a little bit about the United Football League. Yeah, three new cities and some of them rebranded. Dallas, they were the Arlington Renegades in terms of rebranding. Houston Gamblers, they should have always left that name. Jim Kelly played there. Louisville Kings, a brand new town. Columbus Avatars. Then you have the Orlando Storm went back there. Birmingham Stallions and St. Louis Battlehawks. I'm not going to spend a boatload of time on this. But Eric, what are your thoughts about these cities and what they have to try to do to rebrand? They've taken a lot of major markets out, but nevertheless, this is a good source to find talent.
Yeah, it's definitely, obviously St. Louis has been trying to kind of rebuild its football reputation after the Rams left. And so, this is a good way to do it. Maybe we'll attract an expansion team in the future. Who knows?
Cliff?
Well, it's nice to see Louisville's getting a shot at a professional team. They don't really get Kentucky's not really a big professional team destination, so why not a UFL team? Houston Gamblers, that's just a classic USFL team. And I remember when Jim Kelly was on there, so it's always nice to see. And the Birmingham Stallions and all that. I think Orlando Storm too. That's a team out there. St. Louis is good. I always feel bad for St. Louis. They have a team. They go back. They get a bad team back. They're gone again. So I would be okay. I like that. Maybe they can get an expansion team in the NFL, and the St. Louis Battlehawks can have an opportunity to show the diehard St. Louis football fandom making them a worthy NFL expansion place once again.
Tony?
Yeah, I don't really follow much UFL. I always joke and say I don't like minor league football, but it does make sense for the cities that they chose. You want to kind of be the only game in town, so the Louisville makes sense. St. Louis, it seems like they're like football. I don't know why they don't like keeping football teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. They're held on the last few years. Let's see if they can keep it going. I know they were having CBA issues before, but maybe the rebrand is what's needed.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I'm with Cliff. The USFL, Houston Gamblers. I know they had the Houston Roughnecks. They had no business playing the Roughnecks. That was stupid. You had the Gamblers in your pocket. You might as well use them. That was a good name. That's merchandise stuff there. I'm glad they got it figured out, and the Gamblers landed back in there, and they were able to use the same logo. All right, Candy.
Yeah, the United Football League is expanding to 10 teams by 2028. They want to keep, they have an 8-team structure now. They want to keep expanding. Obviously, they want to grow. They potentially want to get to 16 by 2032. And one of the things that they're doing is actively moving away from some of the previous markets due to stadium constraints in search for better venues. I get that. I mean, they're trying to grow their brand. So hopefully they can do it. They need to get some better players in there, I believe, to help that as well.
Well, once the Michigan Panthers went away, I stopped watching. So I don't have a horse in the race. But I will say I'm actually glad that the Louisville Kings are there. As many years ago, only a few of us know, Kentucky Colonels played in the ABA there, and now you have a professional team. So I applaud that move. Okay, let's continue on. Giannis desired to play outside of Milwaukee. New York and Milwaukee engaged in talks with the teams, never gave traction to a deal. Well, offseason again. You think, Eric, that the New York Knicks would be a good fit for Giannis?
Oh, it's become the never-ending debate. Is he staying or is he going? Will he, won't we? Will the Bucks, won't the Bucks? At this point, the Bucks are a complete mess right now. And as far as New York goes, I don't know. I mean, Giannis is not the most is not the most, I guess, outgoing guy, if you will, because it's in New York. It's really hard to not be that guy. I don't really know, but all I know is I'd like for it to have some sort of resolution, whether he either stays in Milwaukee or he goes somewhere else. Because at this point, it is news because they keep on uttering the same thing: will they, won't they?
Okay. What about you, Cliff?
Well, New York and New York Post. I think they lead the world in photoshopped jerseys on players of possible guys coming to that team. They love doing that. So if it hasn't happened, yeah, I'm sure I haven't seen the post. I'm not in New York right now, so I don't see it as often as I used to. I'm sure once it got talked about, oh, he's coming here. He's coming here. I'm like, everybody's going there according to them. It's and no, I don't know if he's going to stay in Milwaukee. He's had success there, but it just seems inevitable he's going to go someplace else. Especially if he's talking about that now, that just seems like the writing on the wall. And I don't know if it's going to be New York. Probably not going to be New York, knowing the way that goes. But he's probably on his way out, and this is just the beginning of that whole process.
Okay, Bessemer City. I haven't said that all night.
You know what? I want Giannis to put on his big boy pants and say what he wants. That's why all this speculation goes around. Giannis never really fully says what he wants. If he wants to be with Milwaukee, he can say that, but he doesn't. He says, you know what? I'm not going to demand a trade. What does that even mean, right? But we're going to find out wherever he ends up. June, I think it's June. It might be July when he's offered a supermax contract. Because if he declines that, the owner has already said there's nothing else to talk about, and they're going to explore a trade. Now the question is Giannis going to actually finally say what he wants to Milwaukee and to the people and say, I want to be in New York? If that's the case, that's where he will be. If not, I expect Milwaukee to go for the best package to get rid of Giannis. But I will say this: if you're a team in the NBA, do you want Giannis Antetokounmpo right now? Yeah. He has not finished a season in the last 3 years. That is a big red flag for me. So I would wonder, would I mortgage my future? Because it takes a lot to trade for somebody like that, for somebody who has not played and ended a season in the last 3 years. We haven't seen a great playoff run since they lost to Boston, whose best playoff run in the last 5 years were in a loss. So I would be wary of trading for him anyway.
Great points. All right, Candy. I'm sure you've got a lot of thoughts about this one.
I do, and part of it has to do with we no longer have a coach. So who are we going to get in as a coach? Because I think that whoever we get in as a coach develops the culture that Giannis wants. I think Giannis stays. I don't think he honestly wants to leave. And why? Yes, I get Madison Square Garden. There's an allure playing there. But do you want to play in a New York media market? There's a big difference between the Milwaukee media market and the New York media market.
Yeah.
And he's always said that he wants to end his career playing in Greece. So how many more years does he have? Who's going to be the coach in Milwaukee? And I think that really will determine whether he stays or whether he goes. I think there's something to be said for him staying. I get he wants more championships. How many great NBA players are there that don't have any NBA championships? He at least has one. Let's not forget that. So, and like Tony, like you've said, the last couple of years he has not stayed healthy. At the end, now obviously there was controversy whether the Bucks were holding him out or whether he was healthy or not. That we're not in here to debate that, but I honestly think he stays. But I think it is very dependent on who they get as a coach.
Well, let's put it to you this way: Ryan Braun should be glad he never went to New York, because with all his PEDs and drug problems, and New York media would have eaten him up alive. So I think Giannis probably might want to think about that as well. Yeah, I think the coach has a lot to do with it as well. Anybody else want to add to it, or can we move on? It's up to you. Great points around everybody else. Joe Buck hopes to remain at ESPN for the rest of his career. Eric, you want to see him there the rest of his career?
At this point, with him being there, I mean, it's not going to doesn't really make a difference to me. He's been broadcasting for a very long time, and he's kind of earned the right to talk about where he wants to be. So if ESPN's doing it for him, that's perfectly fine by me.
Okay. Cliff?
It's Joe Buck. Joe Buck goes where Joe Buck wants to go. If he wants to stay with ESPN, he can stay with ESPN. If he wants to start his own network and streaming service, I'm sure that'll work too. He's earned that right. He's Joe Buck, and yeah, he has his own direction, and I'm happy for him. So it'll be great to see him on ESPN from now on. From here
Tony.
on out.
Yeah, look, like everybody said, it's Joe Buck. He's earned the right to do whatever. ESPN has just got the Super Bowl too, so we're gonna get a Joe Buck call on the Super Bowl this year.
Right.
Haven't had that in a while, so I'm excited
Right.
for it. Just a little more baseball coverage, please, Joe. I know they did the Dodgers game for Jackie Robinson Day, and he was like he has no interest in like doing it weekly like he did before. But for my own selfish reasons, I wouldn't mind more baseball from him, but he can do
Well,
whatever.
I'll give you one word for that, Tony. Ditto. Ditto. Yeah, I met Joe Buck. I've got to know him real well. One of the nicest people I'll ever meet. Very down to earth. They're taking a couple pictures. I got to see Jack Buck many years ago, and Joe Buck's a super classy guy. And you know what? I'm sure he's not worried about. Doesn't miss those Sunday games. He just goes Monday night, and that's about it. It's easier for his family. All right, Candy.
So happy early birthday to Joe Buck. His birthday is on Saturday. He will turn 57. He got his degree from Indiana University. He is already in the Hall of Fame. He has called 6 Super Bowls, 23 World Series. I think he's to the point where, hey, do what you want to do before you retire. You can pick and choose. Kudos to you. You've done it how many different things, and how cool is it that both he and his father are in the sports broadcasting Hall of Fame?
It's a great accomplishment. The Bucks are definitely worthy of their honors for sure. All right, well, I'll talk about the Detroit Pistons. They did defeat Orlando 98-83, and Kate Cunningham said we're sick about losing this one. It's a long series, though. There's no confidence drop off from us, obviously. But looking at tonight's game, there wasn't. I'm still very excited about the series and where it's going to push this team to. There's a lot of things that we can learn about from this game to make it better. Well, Pistons backed up their words. They were mad, and Orlando paid the price. Eric.
Yeah, I mean Detroit clearly came in motivated, and so and it worked out well for them.
Cliff.
Sounds like the bad boys made a comeback from back in the day and decided they tapped into the spirit of that and put a beating down on their opponent there.
Yeah, I covered the bad boys. That was quite a time in my career. Having to cover those guys was an unbelievable group. I made some friends on that team as well. I knew who to talk to. All right, Tony, you're my basketball guy. What are your thoughts about what the Pistons did tonight? I don't know. To me, it looked like that they were actually rusty because they actually ended up losing the game and they never led in the game from start to finish. So it looked like the layoff affected them, and to not be able to go out there and have one lead in game one. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I agree. The Magic was coming off of a do or die situation against the Hornets, so they were already riled up and ready to go. And Detroit had a week off, a little over a week off. So they were, kind of sleepwalking into it. And the Magic hit first. I watched most of the game today, and today Detroit hit first. You can't overreact in these series, especially off of game one. You have series where it get funky. You might have a 7-game series where it's not a close game at all. It's just blowout. You got to approach every game like it's a new challenge. And that's what Detroit did today. I'm sure they'll do the same thing in Orlando in a couple of days. I believe in Cade Cunningham and his way to make adjustments in game. He scored less today. He got his teammates involved, had 11 assists. So that helped because he scored 39 in game one and they lost. Nobody else was able to help him out. So he was making sure he got other people involved. And I think that's going to help them progress throughout the playoffs. But yeah, the bad boys were there. A lot of the people were there. Isaiah Thomas was at the game today. Ben Wallace was there. You got Richard Hamilton that was there. That gets you going, man. Jalen Rose was there, which is crazy. You would think he played for Detroit, but he's just a Detroit native. Got the guys going. So I think it's going to be a fun series. Like I say, though, it's the first of 4. You can't overreact to one game. You just got to hunker down and be able to win the next challenge.
That's true. Well, I mean, all of these Pistons are definitely close. Jalen Rose always talks about loving the Pistons. Like you said, the only thing he didn't do was play for them. And of course, Isaiah Thomas, Rip Hamilton, the list goes on and on. I mean, Ben Wallace has been there. Rick Mahorn does the games. Candy?
As I think about the Pistons having that week off, coming in, playing kind of flat, and I wouldn't say unmotivated, but I think they took for granted their regular season, how well they were playing. And then Orlando, here they were hot. They had to come in and play tough. They had a tough series before. The one thing that is now off the Pistons' back is they had lost 11 straight home postseason games, dating all the way back to 2008. So now that streak is over. I think what happened is they went in at halftime and they got motivated because it was a tie game in game 2 here at halftime. They came out and outscored. They dominated in the third quarter, 38-16. They had 6 players in double digits point wise. And so I think they didn't want to be embarrassed. And they're like, you know what? We came in as the number 1 seed. We had such a good regular season. How come we've been playing flat? And I think they really, whoever spoke up in that locker room during halftime motivated it, and it was enough to take them over the hump and get the win tonight.
Wow, JV Bickerstaff. And keep in mind, one of their assistant coaches is Luke Walton. And Luke Walton comes from a good background as well. So, all right, time of the show where we get to talk about my town. Go ahead, Eric, lead off.
Well, I gotta say though, with the Yankees, that's 5 in a row. They won the series at Fenway Park against the Boston Red Sox, and oh man, it was glorious. Nothing better than to hit around the Boston Red Sox. There is no team that aside from the Mets, there is no other team that anybody should root for than the Boston Red Sox. It was glorious. Max Fried threw 8 shutout innings. And tomorrow, the Yankees got a chance to sweep and embarrass the Red Sox in Boston at Fenway Park with a fired up Cam Schlittler on the mound. And I'm just gonna add on a side note: Giancarlo Stanton is the Red Sox father.
Okay, that's good. Okay, Cliff.
Quick little update: the Mets have finally ended the losing streak. They won tonight, so I guess they get a banner for that. Break the 12-game losing streak. But I'm going to go with the New York Giants. They did just get somehow they got Cincinnati to give them their 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence. And I'm like, everybody was shocked about that. I'll take that all day. We'll see how they draft. We keep hearing either Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs, or hey, maybe Jeremiah Love will fall down to them, but then they have Cam Scatterboo. But I just want the team to get better, honestly. But then I'm also hearing that OBJ. I'm like, no, he couldn't even play with Miami last year. He couldn't even really make the lineups. You're not gonna. It's not 2015. It's 2026. It's not gonna work that way. And I really don't know if I want him around weak neighbors and not being able to play. And then, that all started going downhill when they were on that stupid boat. And they've got the boat picture. And then after that, it was just like, it just went downhill from there. It's like, okay, just appreciate that you're good. And don't be flaunting it. All right. But no, I guess that was the curse of it. But hey, I'm going to see what they do with this. They've had early picks like that before. It didn't work out as well with the 2 top picks. They have to be really careful with it. I keep hearing Caleb Downs, he's going to be a great safety. But then I hear, he might have a degenerative condition, but that's just conjecture. But anytime I hear the word degenerative, it's like, no. He isn't even in the league yet. And so I don't know. I got to wait and see. And it looks like the GM might be out. He's going to do the draft, and this is basically Harbaugh's team. So it's going to be an interesting couple of years and an interesting draft, to say the least.
Okay, turn over to Tony, my town.
Two things. First, if you watch wrestling, don't hate watch it. Okay. I'm tired of people who get on the internet and all they do is bash the product. You spend 6 hours of your life watching 3 different wrestling shows. You love it. Okay. Stop acting like you don't. Secondly, in my town, Orlando Magic. I know we just talked about Detroit and they did get their win, but hey, the Magic can save what was looked at as a very disappointing season. It will take a large upset of Detroit, but you got one game and split the series 1-1. Game 3 is in Orlando on Saturday. Put pressure on Detroit. You're the 8th seed. Win game 3, and let's see what happens after that. Paulo Banchero, be the player that you could be in the playoffs. Franz Wagner, please stop being soft. Just a little bit. Play a little tough. Jalen Duren, don't let him push you around. Jalen Suggs, you do your thing. I think the Magic hit game 3, and then it gets real interesting after that.
Not really something I want to hear, but that there was a wake up call on Sunday. I do want to make one mention though. Detroit Lions made out all right when they drafted an offensive lineman in the first round. You ever heard of Penei Sewell? I say he's definitely worked. I say he's worked out pretty well. So yeah. Okay, Tony, it's okay if we differ. I understand your allegiances to the Magic, I'm the Pistons, but it's okay. We keep it fair, we keep it real, and it's okay. All right, go ahead, Candy.
So I'm going to go outside the box, but I am going to talk about Wisconsin. Without Wisconsin, there would be no Earth Day, which is today, for those of you that don't know. In 1969, a Madison man had an idea. Why not devote an entire day to teaching people about the environment to send a message to Washington that most people want the government to help them solve environmental problems? That man was Gaylord Nelson, and that idea became Earth Day. He was born in the Northwoods in 1916. He grew up admiring Wisconsin's beauty and the progressive politics of Senator Fighting Bob La Follette. After earning his law degree at the University of Wisconsin and fighting in World War II, he returned to Madison, where he helped revive the Democratic Party and ignite a national movement. In 1958, Nelson became the governor of Wisconsin and quickly earned a reputation as the nation's #1 conservatist, in the words of Packers legend Vince Lombardi. After 2 terms, he was elected to the United States Senate, where he served 3 consecutive terms. A few of his biggest accomplishments: he earmarked $50 million to acquire land, which he converted into Wisconsin's public parks and wilderness areas that are still around today. He created a youth conservation corps to create green jobs for more than 1,000 unemployed young people in Wisconsin and encouraged President Kennedy to do the same across the country. He founded Earth Day, which brings us to today. Earth Day has been observed every April 22nd since 1970 and is now a global event celebrated by more than 1 billion people in more than 193 countries. Some join large-scale tree planting initiatives, while others simply clean up the trash in their neighborhood park. No action is too small. Get involved for Gaylord. So happy Earth Day to everybody.
All right, well, I'll make mine short and sweet. Then we have our parting shots. Number 1, yeah, this is just unbelievable. The rich get richer, okay, because Dana White will donate to Miami. Name, image, and likeness. Name, image, and likeness. So the rich get richer, and if everybody knows about Dana White, that's what you have. So there you go. All right, now, final thing is our parting shots. Eric, lead off.
I gotta say that I'm happy that the Yankees beat the Red Sox at Fenway Park in the series. There is no other win I savor more than whenever the Yankees beat the Red Sox. It felt extremely great, especially last year when the Yankees came back from being 1-0 down and on the brink of elimination in the wild card round, and Cam Schlittler single-handedly destroying all their bats and winning the series. No other series win is good. It'll feel even 3 times will be even better if Cam Schlittler can go out and shove tomorrow.
Okay, Cliff.
Keep an eye on the Montreal Canadiens. They're young, they're hip, they're fast. I'm liking what I'm seeing. They were able to split with Tampa Bay. I think they can make a good run for it. Yeah, I'm happy about Buffalo, but Montreal, there's something about Montreal. I don't know. At the very least, I think they can come out of the Eastern Conference and really show a good run. So keep an eye on them this year.
Okay, Tony.
My parting shots are thank you, Scott. Thank you, Candy. This has been great. I know we're about to take a little break. I want you guys to enjoy your trip. I'm sure there'll be a lot of footage and stuff posted on TikTok because Scott is a TikTok famous person, you know. But yeah, I just want to say thanks to you guys, and I want you guys to have a great time. Be safe, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
I'll tell you something, Tony. I've had a lot of people in my days in this business, but I've never seen a guy come from Instagram and turn out to be a superstar as quickly as you have. And I am so proud as heck to have you on our network. I can't say that enough. I mean, you and Eric are going to be a hit on your baseball show on Saturdays, which I have decided to move that date up, by the way, to the end of June, not the end of July. I'll go into more specifics when I get back. I figure enough is enough. I need to set you two loose, and I'll do a few shows, and you guys can do whatever you want with the show. Candy, but Tony, you're just an unbelievable person. You really, truly are. And for you to reach out to me on Instagram and us connect the way we did, you have proven to be a very valuable part of what we're doing here. And we are so proud to have you. I guess Friday won't come quick enough, that's for sure.
Right? Thank you.
All right, Candy, what's your parting shot?
My parting shot has to do with some breaking news, too. The Illinois House has passed the mega projects bill aimed at paving the way for the Chicago Bears to build a new stadium in Arlington Heights. It was a 78-32 vote. Now the legislation heads to the Illinois Senate next week. If it passes there, it would head to the governor's desk and signed into law. Governor has been very clear and consistent for years that the Bears should remain in Illinois and that any legislation needs to protect taxpayers. Why would you even think of moving the Chicago Bears to the Gary Bears or anything else? That was just unbelievable. It's one of the oldest NFL franchises. It needs to stay in Chicago. Chicago, do better. Pass it. Keep it in Chicago or one of the suburbs around Chicago, like Arlington Heights.
All right, and every now and then my parting shots are going to get out of the sports world. I don't mind doing it because I think it's important that people get an idea what the world is all about. I want to dwell on it. We do the Motor City Mad Mouth show in the first hour for a lot of them. Obviously, there are some that we don't get to right away, and some of them are timely. But I'm going to talk about this one because it bothers the daylights out of me. We talk about how people should get along, right? But Chadwick Willesee was executed the other day. Good riddance, because here's a converted killer who burned his Florida neighbor alive and is executed. How can anybody do that? You burn a guy when you're alive. To me, this couldn't have been the fastest death penalty sentence in the world. Give me a break, Mr. Willesee. What were you thinking when you talk about be kind to our neighbors? Well, Mr. Willesee, you didn't do that, and unfortunately, everybody can prove they're innocent, but it's pretty clear cut what you did is wrong, and I hope that the forces from above let you know it as well. So it's just, I feel bad for the neighbors no longer with us, but Mr. Willesee, good riddance from all of us. But meanwhile, I know I ended it on a negative note here, but I just feel once in a while I like to be a little bit different with these things. I think the part of a good journalist, though, is you have to be a little bit different with some of the topics. Sometimes they may get a little bit out of control, but this is the world we live in, people. Sometimes you dodge topics you don't want to get to. I've proven I'm not going to do it anymore. I'll try to be conscious of other people. You can bring topics on, and sometimes they get a little bit more spicy, right, Candy, than they're supposed to be. There's nothing we could do about that as producers. We go out there and do what we think is best and hope that emotions don't get out of control, and we go from there. But meanwhile, that does it for this edition of the Sports Exchange. We will be back here on May 14th. Before we go away, Eric, why don't you let everybody know how they can get a hold of you?
You can follow me on my X account at Sports Team News, or you can check out my writing at South Florida Tribune, where I'm covering all things baseball. If you think I don't like your team, I probably don't.
Okay, Cliff.
I can find me here. I'll be back on the 14th as well, and Cliff Neal on Facebook.
I'll say, Cliff, you've come a long way. I'm proud of you. Keep it up. You're doing fantastic. Okay, what else can I say about you, Tony? And you have something in common with Tony the Tiger. You know what that is?
What's that?
You're great.
I appreciate that. Yeah, on YouTube, you can find me, Tony Talking Game. Find me here, obviously, Monday, Wednesday, end of June. It'll be Saturdays as well. All my social media, Talking Game 1. You got clips daily. Everything's going up. Make sure y'all check it out.
All right. Well, yeah, you and Derek are going to do. I figure why wait till the 11th? I'm going to let you guys do it the final week of June, and you'll have. I don't think you'll do a show on July 4th, but that'll give you a chance to sort out 2 weeks from now what you want to do differently. And I figure there's no better time than they'll launch it then. All right, Candy, take us the rest of the way, please.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning in the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, talks about his 40-plus years in the industry and how it has evolved. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website. It's also available in the audio version, so if that's what you prefer, go get it out there today. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to advertise or be on a show, email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Last but not least, if you see that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to us. I don't know what you're waiting for. Just click it, like us, share us with all your friends and family. Turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. We have one last show before vacation, and it's Sports Wrap tomorrow night, and we're talking hockey. So definitely turn on your notifications so you're notified about that, and then you're notified when we come back what programming we start right back on. And Scott, not to correct you, but I'm going to correct you. Actually, it's May 13th is the Wednesday.
Okay.
Yep. So May 13th we will be back. But otherwise, you know what? If you missed any of our other previous shows, you can always go back to our YouTube channel and watch any of those. Or if you want to see, like if you're doing a preview of the draft or want to know about any of the draft, there are some other interviews that we have up on the YouTube channel. Go check it out as well. I can also tell you if you're into the NFL draft, Jeremy Ballrick has wrote about, I think, 23 different players that are in the draft, and they're up at southfloridatribune.com on our website. Just like Eric writes about baseball, Jeremy writes about the draft players. So go check those out as well. Back to you, Scott.
All right. Well, once again, I want to thank Mark. You built to being on in our first hour. Eric, as usual, you're great. Cliff, you've come a long way, and you haven't even begun to realize how much better you're going to get. Tony, well, what can I say? I've already said you're fantastic and getting better. And he's my TikTok mentor and Candy. To me, you're just one of a kind. Do a great job in more ways than one. So with that said, she's the one who'll be doing all those videos while I go ahead and lose my voice out in Europe. So Europe, here I come. Voice, here I go. And who knows, the word raspy will be something a lot of people are going to get there. I may get sick and tired of hearing about the Motor City Madmouth show, because you'll probably hear it 50 to 75 times when I get done talking to anybody willing to let me stick a microphone right in front of their face. So it'll be good. I don't know what language they'll be in, but we'll find a way to make them understand. And I do plan to make my own kind of music and my own kind of trouble just in time. God bless. Take care. See you on May 13th. Good night, everybody. Appreciate you joining us, and enjoy the break, my crew. You guys definitely deserve it. God bless. Bye now.